welcome everybody to the latest face-to-face interview with TTG. I'm Jennifer Morris, I'm the news editor at the magazine, and today I'm thrilled to be joined by Cherie Richards, who many of you will be very, very familiar with as Global's commercial director. But today she's got some very exciting news, having just joined Not Just Travel as Chief Business Development Officer. Hi, Cherie.
Hi, Jen. Thank you for having me.
No problem. So I thought I'd kick off. A lot of our viewers and readers will just be so happy to see you because obviously such a well-known face in the industry. You were actually the recipient of one of our Outstanding Contribution to Travel Awards at the TTG Top 50 not too long ago. So I think people will just be really pleased to see that you've stayed in the industry. Would you mind just telling us a little bit about how this kind of move's come about? Obviously we're in the grips of the pandemic still, and it, on the outside can look like a bit of a strange time to suddenly change roles, but is that something that had already been discussed before the pandemic kicked in?
Yes, it was, Jen. I actually started working my notice with Global in February. Obviously, little did I know that some weeks later that the world was going to shut down. But yes, it was a really big decision for me to leave the brand that I treated as my own and that I was very passionate about. I'm very, very sad to have left the team and the members specifically, but it was my time. I was offered a great opportunity with Not Just Travel to help me with my career progression, but also to be able to work from home. I have a 5-year-old, and so to be closer to home as he started school in the last year was really important to me too.
Yeah. But I guess you've had to be working from home as it is over the summer anyway.
Yeah.
So you've kind of had a bit of a practice run already at that. So, I mean, how did the kind of conversations come about? Was it that Not Just Travel had identified you already in the industry and thought that you'd be a compliment to their team?
Yeah, so I did know of certainly one of the co-founders better than the other in the first instance, and we'd had a discussion at the latter part of last year. I think that many people that know me would have thought that I would never leave my previous business, that I'd got that business running through my veins, and I did.
Mm-hmm.
However, when your personal circumstances change, you have to look at things a little bit differently. There was an opportunity with Not Just Travel for a role to be created for me. The guys are entrepreneurs in their own right, but not specifically with travel experience, and therefore saw me as a coup to join their business because I could bring 27 years worth of travel experience to the table, but 15 with the independent travel agent sector.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really excited to be joining them as well, because their inspirational and motivational new initiatives that they want to bring to travel is exciting in a really difficult trading year that's going to be. So it's a great opportunity for me.
Yeah, and we'll definitely come more onto what your new role is going to involve. But just very quickly, we quite pleased that you could obviously stay with Global throughout the kind of the beginnings of this crisis, because I know that you're so passionate about your members, and I know you did quite an emotional video when it was coming to leaving. So was it reassuring to you to be able to sort of do a thorough handover in that sense and work closely with them?
It was really important, and obviously to leave my team and the members in the middle of the pandemic was difficult. It's tough. The situations that we find ourselves in at the moment are very unprecedented, in particular in the refunds arena. So to leave them and to move on was quite difficult, but I had a great team over at Global, and I know that they're doing a great job to just do their best. That was the feeling within the group. We've all had to do different jobs within the business right now, which is not specifically our role, but it's all hands on deck at the moment, both in that business and in the one that I'm joining now. So but it was just the right time. I don't think there was ever going to be a right time for me to leave, because I was an integral part of that business. But yes, it was an emotional goodbye, but it was the right time.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you said, sometimes, the personal side of things is just what you've got to prioritize for your own, your own health and well-being. And it sounds like you've hit the ground running. I mean, are you okay to tell us a little bit about your new role? So Chief Business Development Officer, that's newly created, you've said.
Yes.
So
yeah.
what will the kind of main things that you'll be getting up to, or already getting up to?
Yeah, okay. So I've spent obviously the last week getting to know the business, understanding how that's obviously different to what I've known before, what sort of new initiatives I can bring to the table. So already the mind is whizzing around with ideas of how we can improve. I'll be looking after the team that work with the suppliers and the commercial relationships, with the marketing team, with the recruitment team, and also the sales and training department as well. So really very similar to the role that I did over in the former business, but being able to add real value to a business that's actually only been around, say, 6 years in their eyes, really 6 years since they've been going. A top home working offering, award-winning in many years over the last following years. So I want to be able to look at what else can we do. Is I've seen that home workers do move into office or retail space, and I do still believe that people will want to do that, because when travel rebounds and bounces back, people will want to go on a holiday, and providing we know how to social distance with our customers, I want to be able to see, what kind of new offerings I can bring to not just travel, in particularly in the retail space.
Yeah, that's very exciting. I actually spoke to Steve Witt at the end of last year, and I'm sure plans have been a little bit kind of thrown in the air over the last few months, but he did reveal that Not Just Travel was working on a sort of new concept away from the franchisees, to do with bringing on talent from within the travel industry, as opposed to sourcing new additions to the travel industry. Is that the specific thing that you're going to be working on? Is there anything more you can tell us about that? Or?
Yeah, I mean, that would be what I would absolutely want to bring to this business. They're really successful in the home working and new to travel environment right now. What I'd be able to, like to be able to bring to them is that concept that Steve talked about last year, is really bring it to fruition and have something out there that the experienced travel agent could join, Not Just Travel, and ride on the back of our financial backing and our support and training, etc.
So would that be described as sort of a consortium, or is it something different altogether?
It would be part of the current offering. Is just that if you're new to travel, generally you would start maybe from home, but if you have a travel experience, it would just be a new proposition.
Okay, and I think I'm right in thinking that Not Just Travel is a member of Hays IG, is that right?
That's correct.
So has it been quite unusual sort of getting your head around a brand that perhaps was a bit of a competitor previously? Have you has that been completely different, or have there been a lot of similarities?
There's been a lot of similarities, Jen, but there is some differences as well. One being that currently, the administration is done by Not Just Travel, not by the travel consultant. And obviously in the business that I've come from, the administration is done by Cherie Travel, and it's likely to be on Cherie Travel's paperwork. So, that's something that I would like to look at, because I do know that once you have started to progress from a home worker, your brand becomes more important, and therefore the full service element becomes more important to you, because the paperwork you want to give your customer is Cherie Travel, and you want to make sure that they always return to Cherie Travel. So doing your own administration might be another, again, new initiative that I can bring to the current offering.
What do you think are some of the main skills that you'll be bringing to the table? I think you've already touched upon some of them. But yeah, what would you say are your kind of biggest attributes that you're hoping to kind of be able to maximise in your new role?
Okay, so I mean, I'm a people person, Jen, and I have, or feel that I have a good relationship with my supply partners. So obviously to further continue those commercial relationships with all of the partners that we'll continue to work with, look at ways I can help those partners work closely with our home workers so that we can really start seeing some growth in performance. I'd also, obviously like to say that coming from the business that I worked in, the members' relationships that I had were also really key. People buy from people, and that they trust, and that they, know that they can rely on you. And I want to be able to build a stronger relationship, obviously, with the new members that are going to be in my life, and really understand their business and how I can help them grow their business moving forward. The model is different in many ways. Some people might have a full-time job and just have it as a lifestyle business, whilst others are really going to be, a successful travel entrepreneur. And I want to be able to see how myself and the sales and training team can help drive those skills and experience forward, whether that be, social media, digital marketing, sales experience, closing the sale. What do these guys need, and let's see how we can help them.
As we've discussed, we are still facing quite a crisis at the moment. I'm sure in your 15 years in the industry, you've got a lot, more than 15 years, I think, in the industry, you've got a lot of experience of handling a crisis. Is this something that you've had to kind of already, look at in your new role in terms of helping members get through this once we start to rebound, hopefully quite soon?
Yeah, so I suppose, I'm in week 2 of this new role right now, but we are starting to see that there are green shoots. We're starting to see some trends of what people are trying to do with their holidays. I mean, just talking to my girlfriends or my neighbours, they all, want to be able to go on holiday. They don't know where they'll go right now. Some people are looking at, multi-generational family holidays right now. So the insights and the trends that I'm seeing and I'm hearing, I'm sharing that with the members, because that's the most important thing that you can do right now, is just give them confidence that we will come back, and we will come back stronger, and it's going to take time. We need to obviously wait for our FCO advice to change, and also to understand the quarantine rules when we return to the UK. Yeah. But it is likely to change, and we have to be ready to act on it as soon as that does. Yeah. We're seeing that children are going on holiday with their, me as a child, I'm going with my parents and my and their grandchildren. People are wanting to go on villa holidays, and know that they're in their confined space, they can take cleaning materials, etc. They're not knowing what the world is going to be like when they go on that holiday, but they're making the decision that we do want to have a holiday, and what that look like will be what it looks like, but at least we'll be in our own surrounding, for example, in a villa. So we're seeing trends and insights, and I think as soon as we start hearing that, and the more we hear from tour operators about what's selling, when people are planning for, just that information just needs to be shared with your travel consultants right now, so that they can start working their market, working their local area. We've gone back to basics. What my head of sales this week did a call with the agent network and talked about, do your local network know that you're there? Produce something, just door drop whilst you're able to. Go and put something through people's doors, just to let you know we're still here and we're ready for you when you want to go on holiday. So we're trying to encourage our travel consultants right now to start moving, start building their brand and what they have to offer in order to try and be ready for the rebound.
Yeah, and as you said, I'm sure there's a degree of just stripping things back a little bit, and like you say, kind of starting from the beginning, because so many amazing agents out there are doing such fantastic progressive work, but I suppose suddenly a crisis comes and throws all your plans in the air a little bit, and I suppose it is that idea of kind of just step by step sort of building back, isn't it? And hopefully you never know, there might be a huge surge in bookings, but yeah, it's looking like it might be a bit of a gradual thing. I hope you don't mind me asking you a little bit about kind of other issues, just with your experience in the industry, Cherie. Are there any ways in which you think the industry is likely to change after this crisis? You mentioned refunds briefly earlier, and obviously that has been one of the biggest challenges, I think, for both suppliers and agents, really. Is that something that you can see changing, or that you think should be changed going forward?
I think that many businesses are going to have to look at how they've been operating, the way in which they've been handling, the cash, whether that's come directly from the consumer or whether that's come, via a consortia. I would see that there's going to be change in that area. There's definitely, obviously, relationships to be rebuilt because, some companies have adopted a different way of handling the crisis as to others. So that's rebuilding the relationship just from the travel consultant level, the travel agents, but also the consortia head offices as well. So, we'll get there. And what will look like post-COVID is going to be quite different. Businesses are going to have to shape very differently. And I suppose, going back to when my news came out that I was, leaving a good job, but going to another job, just days after, there's lots of people being made redundant. And that's very indicative of our industry right now, is that you do see tour operators and travel agents having to make change because we don't have the income coming in to be able to manage all of the outgoings. So look, there's going to be a lot of change, but the industry will still be there. We will bounce back. We will become stronger, and the consumer, is going to be looking for financial stability and security, knowing that if they are buying a holiday, that they will be able to get a refund should something happen.
Yeah. You mentioned briefly there, obviously, redundancies, which is it's just ongoing, and it's awful, obviously, to read about. If there are people out there who have found themselves recently made redundant, would you encourage them to get in touch with you directly if they're interested in Not Just Travel's model?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I've already received quite a few messages, from field-based tour operator, business development managers, etc., who have found themselves in a position without a job. And I think that what I have seen is that whilst that is happening, there are also businesses that do seem to be driving their business forward, looking for new opportunity, looking to be able to review and to restructure, and looking for new talent as well. So I have probably 3 or 4 people on my list right now who are saying, I don't have a job, let me know if you hear of anything, because not only obviously might there be opportunity within the new business I work with, but I'm aware of other businesses that might have new opportunities too. So I'm happy for anyone to reach out to me and have a chat. It's sad times, and I'm a mental health first aider. I'm very aware of people's well-being at this time. It's difficult, and so anybody that wants to reach out and have a chat, I'm here.
Oh, that's lovely. A lovely message to end things on, Cherie. And was there anything else that you wanted to sort of talk about or bring up that that you think that our readers and viewers now would like to hear about?
I don't think so, Jen. Look, it's an exciting time for me in a new opportunity. I understand it's really difficult times out there as well. So, my excitement is a little bit different. Right now when you see your friends and colleagues hurting and, and your travel agents just having a difficult time out there with customers frustrated and having to wait a long time. So, listen, it's tough, it's challenging, it's unprecedented, all of those words. but we will get through it, and we'll all hopefully come out brighter the other side.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, it's lovely to see you are staying in the industry, Cherie, and I'm sure we'll be hearing a lot of very exciting things coming from you and from Not Just Travel in the near future. So thanks very much for joining us.
Thanks, Jen.